Every competitor, even race car drivers, want to have a season filled with smooth and consistent performances. This gives them something to look back and smile at when the year comes to a close, and something solid to build upon coming the following season. But that was not the case for Charles Leclerc, who had an inconsistent Ferrari season. Keep watching this video to get the full scoop. What you need to know. Charles Leclerc, the superstar Ferrari driver, acknowledges that his second place result in the F1 Drivers' Championship felt hollow because he didn't seriously contend for the championship. Leclerc started the 2022 season off strong, winning the Bahrain and Australia to jump ahead of Max Verstappen by 46 points in the driver's standing and take a 34-point lead. After that, though, everything started to fall apart. Leclerc only managed to win one more race in Austria, while reliability issues and poor strategy cost him several victories. Leclerc's fault or not? Leclerc is not blameless for his poor run of form, as he crashed when leading the race at the French Grand Prix and subsequently struck the barriers at Imola. By the time of the summer break, it was abundantly evident to everyone that Verstappen would soon clinch the Drivers' Championship, and Leclerc would be vying for second place in the rankings. And this happened exactly as expected. Leclerc and Sergio Perez's Red Bull were battling it out for second place in Japan all the way to the finish line. Leclerc beat the Mexican driver by 3 points to win it. When asked if dividing the Red Bull drivers had satisfied him in any way, he responded via motorsport.com, "Not too much, to be honest." When I look back on the season, I think it was a successful season, especially when I consider that the team had really challenging seasons in 2020 and 2021. It wasn't a given that we would make such a breakthrough and place second in both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships, so I'm pleased about that. However, if you take a closer look at the season as a whole, you can see that there was a very frustrating middle stretch where we weren't able to properly gel before Sunday. This was annoying, to say the least. I have conflicting emotions about this season, but second place is still a respectable finish. I simply hope it's a step in the right direction and that we can make another one in the coming year. Leclerc's admissions of frustration. Leclerc's famously received a finger wag from team manager Mattia Binotto after the British Grand Prix. Yet another strategy call from Ferrari's pit wall cost him a potential victory. Leclerc famously admitted to being frustrated at various points throughout the season. 1 out of a possible 6 victories was lost. The other were in Spain and Baku, where he opted out while leading due to reliability issues, amongst other unfavorable factors. In response to his dissatisfaction, Leclerc said, "I think in the heat of the moment and in the heat of the season, races are coming quite quickly. Therefore, I believe it to be fine." You just feel it a little bit more towards the end of the season when you reflect back on it. However, it wasn't that difficult during the season. What will Charles Leclerc do after losing the 2022 title? Charles Leclerc, the runner-up for the 2022 Formula One World Championship, spoke with F1 correspondent Lawrence Barretto about his erratic campaign before pressing his end-of-season switch-off button and starting the recharging process. The 24-year-old had a commanding 46-point lead in the championship after 3 races in a Ferrari that had been competitive for more than a decade. However, he finished the season 146 points behind the champion Max Verstappen. He honestly acknowledges his mistakes, which is nice, but before the off at Paul Ricard, where he threw away the lead and maybe the win, there was the spin in Imola that cost him a podium spot. However, he has often been hindered by team mistakes. He lost the lead in Monaco, Silverstone, and Hungary due to poor strategy calls, and as he headed out onto the field, his engine failed twice in Spain and Azerbaijan. Ferrari's lack of in-season improvement caused them to not only fall behind eventual champions Red Bull, but also to be outperformed in the latter stages by a Mercedes team that had struggled to find its way out of the field all season. After Spa, with 8 races remaining, Leclerc realized that championship was probably over. When we speak while gazing at the marina that borders Abu Dhabi's stunning paddock, he says, "Spa was the first race where we really struggled for pace, and it made me think it would be difficult to win the title. We fell behind by quite a few points. Although accepting it wasn't simple, you simply had to give it your all during the rest of the season, which is what I did." The good. There is a long list of problems for Charles Leclerc, but it's laced with hopeful signs in what was, statistically speaking, his most successful campaign to date. The Monegasque win, 9 pole positions in 2022, the most of any driver. He did this by making the most of a Ferrari that was in its comfort zone for 1 lap and by performing well under pressure when you only have 1 chance to win the pole. In the first 3 races of the season, Leclerc finished second twice and first twice. While it was closer in the race, he still outperformed Charles Sainz 12-9, winning 3 Grand Prix to Sainz's 1, his best season total. He easily defeated his teammate 15-7 in qualifying, and with 308 points, he outscored his previous high by 44. Leclerc had a successful year this year, but things could have been very different if they had been more reliable, made better strategic decisions, and made fewer driver mistakes, along with a little bit of luck. It's challenging to evaluate a season like this because it's been so up and down, Leclerc says. When I take a step back and consider how challenging 2020 and 2021 were, it's wonderful to be fighting for the positions we're fighting for now. This is a fantastic advancement. On the one hand, if you only think about this season, I don't think we've used anything to its full potential. It's a great transition from last year's struggles to maybe winning the title next year. What does the future hold now for Leclerc? Leclerc said he will enter next year with a lot of confidence. He also said, and I quote, "We've been working well this year to pinpoint the areas we need to improve on this car for next year. We'll work very hard, I have no doubt. Those areas of development are focused on organizing everything flawlessly." Ferrari completed the challenging part of 2022 by creating a quick race car that began the year as the best of all. When you consider how drastically the regulations have changed, that is a commendable accomplishment. However, a flimsy engine meant that not only did they pay for it early on, when they lost at least 2 Grand Prix victories and a 1-2, but they also faced grid penalties later on when they inevitably used more engine parts than allowed. Because of this, it is thought that the power unit has been a major focus of the team's resources and efforts, with a primary emphasis on dependability in an effort to maximize the potential power output. The team's major issue this past Sunday was tire management, which has received a lot of attention. They just couldn't get the rubber into the proper operating window, making it challenging for the drivers to maintain competitive lap times while making the tires last. The tire testing they have done with Pirelli, most notably at Fiorano this month with Sainz and later Leclerc, will have aided in some of that learning. Even though these are blind tests, the team will have more information to try and understand how they can move forward and the length of time they can spend running the tires. The onus is then on Leclerc to avoid errors like the one at Paul Ricard, when he was leading that cost him the victory, and consistently complete the task at hand. Every Ferrari fan will be praying that everything works out in 2023, as fans were robbed of the opportunity to see if he could achieve that this year. Leclerc and Sainz thank departing boss Binotto after intense years together at Ferrari. After spending 4 very intense years together with the Ferrari team, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both used their social media platforms to formally congratulate departing team manager Mattia Binotto. The Scuderia finished second in the championship in 2022, and it was revealed on Tuesday that Binotto, who joined Ferrari in 1995 and became team principal in 2019, has resigned from that position. In 2019, during Binotto's first year in charge, Leclerc, a former pupil of the Ferrari Driver Academy, joined the team as a full-time driver. Since then, under Binotto's direction, he's competed in 81 Grand Prix, winning 5 races, claiming 18 pole positions, placing on 24 podiums, and finishing second in the Drivers' Championship for this year. Leclerc thanked Mattia Binotto for everything in a farewell Instagram message. He said, and I quote, "Together we had 4 incredibly intense years full of enormous joy and unavoidably trying times. My regard and admiration for you have never wavered, and we have consistently put our all into pursuing the same objectives. Wishing you success in everything." After joining the team from McLaren at the start of the 2021 season, when Binotto chose to draft him in as a replacement for Sebastian Vettel, teammate Sainz has spent the previous 2 years working under Binotto. The Spaniard, who won his maiden race in July at Silverstone, also praised Binotto's efforts and praised his capacity to keep the team moving forward through thick and thin. Sainz said, "Thank you, Mattia. It has been a pleasure to work with you to advance the team and ourselves through good times and bad. Best wishes for your future endeavors, and thanks for the wonderful times we had both on and off the racetrack." So guys, what do you think of Charles Leclerc's 2022 season? And how do you reckon he will perform in 2023? Kindly tell us in the comments section. And if you found this video interesting, then a like and share would be greatly appreciated, as it means your friends can watch it too. One more thing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to smash the notification bell so you'll know exactly when we upload another interesting video like this. See you next time.